There's no question in my mind that the evidence is properly admitted to rebut or refute the claims that he made in the past, that he didn't know a thing about stand your ground. It could come in as to the issue of his state of mind at the time, although I'm not sure what it bears on, how it bears on that. But to the extent that this Carter is giving a substantive lecture about what the law is, and I understand that part of this is elicited by the defense to blunt the force of the testimony once it's admitted, that doesn't belong in a courtroom because it's the judge's job exclusively to instruct the jury on the law, not Carter's job to inform or misinform the jury about what the law is. Now, to the extent, because evidence comes in for a reason, not for every reason, for particular reasons. Now, to the extent it came in to bear on his state of mind, I would argue that it blew up in the prosecution's face. Because if George Zimmerman knows something about the state of stand your ground law, maybe it tends to show that he was acting reasonably, that he was acting in conformity with what he thought the law was, that he was doing what he thought he was allowed to do under the law, rightly or wrongly. Is that reasonable or not? The jury will decide that. But I don't think that advances the ball for the state either.
I don't think so at all. I mean, like I said, I think it blew back on the prosecution there.
Many other legal analysts would take issue with you. They thought it was a big blow to the defense on this one.
I don't know how
legal analysts often, and myself included, they don't know what they just don't know what they're talking about. They just conjecture. How, I don't even see the relevance to his state of mind. It's very slim relevance period, other than to rebut his past claims that he knows nothing about it and show him to be a liar. That's all fair game. But how does this hurt him? I understand it plays into the wannabe cop mentality. He could want to be a cop all he wants.
They're hammering on the credibility.
Well, it's fair game on that. It's fair game on that.
You know, could on one statement, one interview where he said he didn't know it, does that say he's a liar? Is it somebody he trusted?
It wasn't even an interview by law enforcement. You know, Sean Hannity interviewed him.
Right.
Like, you know, it's like he perjured himself or something like that. And I think that's what they're trying to make it look like. Oh, look, he perjured himself, you know, on Hannity.
Right.
You know,
because they played the full interview.
Right. They played the, you know, and I watched it that night, and you know, I don't think it was a good idea for the defense to put him on Hannity in the first place. You know, but it happened, and that's the way it is.
No, it wasn't a good idea, but I thought about that this morning. In some ways, especially Monday morning quarterbacking, if he doesn't get convicted, in some ways it was a great idea because he effectively testified without subjecting himself to cross-examination.
For that point, I thought it was something that gives him another reason not to put him on the stand.
Exactly. And
well, he's not going on the stand. He can't go on the stand now. He can't do any better than he's done, and he hasn't done well, but he did effectively get his story across without taking the stand and getting impeached.
For that purpose alone. But then again, that's for the defense, as opposed for a prosecution to put that out there.
You know, I'm sure, you know, we're finishing the prosecution's case now, all right? It's going to be fun to watch this defense. I mean, because, like we said before, the prosecution doesn't have much of a case. Everything from here on is going to bolster Zimmerman.
Well, I think it'll be a very skeletal defense case. I don't think it'll be much. And you could see on Wednesday...
You don't see the defense like going much longer? I mean, a few days, maybe, and just to reaffirm. Will they recall some of these witnesses? Will they recall some of these other witnesses? Or will they just... What other new witnesses would they want to present to the jury?
I'd call Zimmerman's mother, wouldn't you?
Well, besides the family.
I mean, something like that. Or, you know, no, it's my son's voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll have the family.
To dispute that.
Right.
I don't know how much more, you know, I think they're going to bring in their own expert as far as the voice analysis is concerned to be able to say, listen, you know, I listened to that voice, no way the mother can be able to...
But she's not allowing that in. She's not allowing a
specific
voice
somebody in
because
no. Say it's unintelligible, you can't...
She's not going to allow... Remember that ruling that you cannot... That she didn't want to have specific voice analysts in there because one could... They're basically going to argue whatever case they want.
Well, I think
this is different, right?
I think she just said that they can't affirmatively state, the prosecution can't affirmatively state that it's Martin's voice on the tape, because they've already brought the FBI expert in to say we can't tell whose voice it is.
Whose voice it is, but I don't know that you can bring a voice expert in to say this is definitively George Zimmerman.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What I'm saying is they bring in an expert in to say, you know, I've listened to the tape, I've done analysis on it. It's my professional opinion, I don't believe anybody, not even a family member, could could recognize that voice.
I don't think they'll do that because I think the point is made. I think they'll bring somebody in to discredit the DNA, the collection methods on the DNA, and to show that the absence of DNA is not dispositive here. I might expect to hear something like that. I wouldn't put on much of a defense case because you take the risks of filling gaps in a deficient prosecution case. And here's the other thing. On Wednesday, when court broke, you heard West arguing that, the prosecution's case is wrapped much quicker than anybody thought, and the defense is trying to get adjournments, and they're playing for time. There's no way the defense case will start today. This West will drag out the cross-examination
Yeah, because West wanted he wanted a recess today as well. And she denied that because she didn't want to keep the jury sequestered that long.
Yeah.
She felt like it was not right to have them Thursday, Friday, through the weekend.
He's going to try to drag it out, and maybe she'll put a stop to it. I'm sure she knows, the judge, what he's
Would
about
you
to try to do.
expect